Hello there, and welcome to the Somnus Sleepy Science channel. I am so glad you found your way here tonight. I'm glad you have chosen this moment to step away from the noise of the day, to close the door on the busy world outside, and to turn your attention inward, toward a place of rest, learning, and profound peace. Tonight, we will be drifting through the quiet wonders of the world we call home. Wherever you are in the world, let this be your moment to slow down. Let the noise soften, the edges blur, and your thoughts settle like leaves on still water. We are not going anywhere fast. We are not solving any problems. We are simply being here, grounded on Earth, preparing to listen to the gentle heartbeat of a planet that is more mysterious, resilient, and extraordinary than most of us ever imagine. Before we drift deeper into tonight's gentle journey, remember to subscribe to Somnus Sleepy Science. Here, you'll always find peaceful stories that soothe the heart and quiet the mind. And I wonder, where are you listening from tonight? Under the winter snows of the north, or perhaps near the warm humidity of the tropics? Leave a comment. Your presence adds warmth to this quiet corner of the night. Now, let yourself get comfortable. Truly comfortable. Adjust your pillows. Pull the blanket up to your chin if you like the warmth, or let the cool air touch your skin if that brings you ease. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and let it out, slowly, and another, deep and slow, as your breathing settles into a natural, easy rhythm. I want you to visualize the space around you not as a room with four walls, but as a sanctuary of stillness. The shadows are soft here. The air is still. You are safe. You are held. Tonight, our story begins not on the ground beneath your feet, but much, much farther away. It begins in the deep, velvet silence of the cosmos. Long before the earth was green, long before the oceans were blue, it begins with you. There is a fact about your existence that sounds like poetry, but it is actually pure physics. It is perhaps the most comforting truth we know. Your bones are made of stardust. This is not a metaphor. It is quite literally true. The calcium that forms the strength of your bones, the structure that holds you upright as you walk through your days, was forged in the heart of ancient stars. Imagine, if you will, the universe billions of years ago, a vast canvas of darkness, dotted with massive, burning stars. In the final moments of a massive star's life, deep within its fiery core, the heat and pressure are so intense that they begin to fuse elements together. Helium becomes carbon. Carbon becomes oxygen. And in the spectacular, silent explosion of a supernova, those elements are scattered across the darkness of space over eons that dust drifts. It travels through the silence. It swirls into clouds of gas and golden light, mixing and settling. Gravity, in its infinite patience, pulls them together once more. A sun is born. Planets form. Oceans rise. And eventually, on one small blue world, life begins. The calcium in your bones, the iron that colors your blood red, the carbon that forms the very architecture of your cells, all of it came from those ancient stars. You are not merely a visitor in this universe. You are the universe. You are the cosmos, arranged in a pattern that can think, breathe, dream, and wonder. Let that thought settle over you like a weighted blanket. You are quite literally made of stardust, walking all tonight, resting on a world shaped by light and time. You belong here. You have always belonged here. Feel the weight of your body pressing into the mattress. That gravity holding you down is the same force that gathered the dust of stars to build the earth. It is a gentle, constant embrace. You don't have to hold yourself up. The earth has you. The universe has you. As you lie here, perfectly still, realize that your body is a marvel of quiet activity. You might feel like a single person, one body, one mind. But in reality, you are an entire living community. Your body contains trillions of cells, about 30 trillion to be exact. And even more fascinating, you are a walking ecosystem. Your body contains more microbial cells than human ones. Trillions of tiny, invisible partners live on your skin, in your mouth, and deep within you. This collection, this vast, invisible landscape, is called your microbiome. And it is not just along for the ride. These tiny lives help digest your food. They train your immune system. They produce vitamins. They even influence your mood. In many ways, this microbiome is an extension of your body's own intelligence. A vast, invisible partner in nearly everything you do. Just as no two fingerprints are alike, your community of microbes is uniquely yours. So, the next time you feel alone, or the house feels too quiet, remember, you are never truly by yourself. You are a world within a world. A galaxy of life wrapped in skin, resting under the covers. Every breath you take right now, listen to it. The soft inhale, the softer exhale. That breath is a gift from the history of the earth. Oxygen was not always here. In fact, oxygen was once a stranger to our planet. Over 2 billion years ago, the Earth's atmosphere was entirely different. But then, in the ancient oceans, tiny microbes called cyanobacteria began to do something miraculous. They learned to catch the sunlight. They breathed in the ancient air and, as a byproduct of their simple life, they released oxygen. At first, it was just a whisper of gas. But over millions of years, bubble by tiny bubble, breath by tiny breath, that oxygen accumulated. It filled the oceans. It rose into the sky. It changed the chemistry of the entire planet. It paved the way for complex life. It paved the way for the forests, for the animals, and eventually, for you. So when you take a breath tonight, you are inhaling the legacy of billions of years of work. You are breathing in the gift of the ocean. You are breathing in the work of the sunlight. The earth breathes with you. It is alive in ways that will surprise you, soothe you, and stir something deep within you. Tonight, we are going to travel, not with our legs, but with our minds. We will float out of this room, drifting gently like a seed on the wind. To explore the corners of this miraculous planet, we will go to the deep oceans where light turns to liquid color. We will walk through forests that think and feel. We will sit in the stillness of the desert and watch the moon rise over ancient sands. But we will do it slowly. There is no rush. The world has been turning for 4.5 billion years. It can wait for us to take our time. If you are ready, let's begin our journey by shrinking down, 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 until we are small enough to land on the surface of a single green leaf. Imagine it, a leaf, perhaps from an oak tree or a maple, hanging quietly in a summer afternoon. To the naked eye, it is just a splash of green. But look closer. Every leaf is a masterpiece of design, with a unique pattern just like a fingerprint. If you were to hold this leaf up to the light, you would see a quiet miracle. It is a finely tuned machine, soft to the touch, yet crafted with microscopic precision. At its heart lies a delicate network of veins, branching out like rivers across a landscape. These veins carry water, minerals, and sugars to every corner of the leaf, fueling the silent work of life. The surface of the leaf is dotted with tiny pores called stomata. Think of them as tiny mouths or windows. They are valves that open and close to let the leaf breathe, taking in carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen. Right now, in forests all over the world, billions of these tiny pores are opening and closing in a silent rhythm. A rhythm that sustains nearly every living thing on Earth. The green pigment you see, chlorophyll, is capturing sunlight and weaving it into energy. It is light turned into sugar. It is star stuff turned into life. Some leaves can track the sun across the sky, turning their faces to follow the warmth. Others repel water so that raindrops bead up like pearls and roll away. No two are exactly the same in form and function. Each leaf is fragile, beautiful, and alive with purpose. Rest here for a moment in your mind's eye, resting on the cool, green surface of a leaf, feeling the gentle sway of the branch in the breeze. Can you hear it? The wind rustling through the canopy. It sounds like a whisper. She, she, And perhaps, if we listen closely enough, we can hear more than just the wind, because the trees are talking in the stillness of a forest. There is a secret conversation taking place beneath your feet. For a long time, we thought trees were solitary giants, standing alone in their struggle for light. But we were wrong. Trees are connected. They are holding hands underground. Beneath the soil, wrapped around the roots, are networks of fungal threads known as These delicate filaments act like cables, linking the roots of one tree to another and another until the whole forest is woven together. Through this hidden web, trees exchange nutrients. They send chemical signals. They share. A birch tree might support a neighboring fir tree that is struggling. An older tree, sometimes called a mother tree, will support her offspring by funneling sugars and resources through this hidden web, ensuring the young saplings have enough to grow in the shade. It is not a metaphor, it is a biological network so vast and complex that some scientists have begun calling it the Wood Wide Web. It creates a quiet form of intelligence, not conscious like ours, perhaps, but deeply cooperative. In this silent world of roots and fungi, the forest is not a collection of individuals fighting for survival. It is a single, breathing, sharing community. Imagine that. Beneath the forest floor, in the cool, dark earth, there is a constant flow of care. A dying tree may pass its last energy to the forest, a final gift to its neighbors. It is a comforting thought, isn't it? To know that connection is the default state of nature. That even in the silence of the woods, nothing is truly alone. You are part of this world. The same carbon that builds the tree builds you. The same stardust that formed the earth formed your hands. As you lie there, let your own roots sink down. Feel your connection to the bed, to the floor, to the foundation of the building, and down into the soil of the earth. You are grounded. You are supported. We are going to move now. Leaving the cool shade of the forest, we drift toward the coast. Can you smell the salt in the air? Can you hear the rhythm of the waves? Whoosh, pause, whoosh, The ocean covers more than 70% of the planet's surface. It holds the vast majority of all living biomass. It is the greatest wilderness on Earth, and it is painted in blue. But even a single drop of this water holds a secret. If you were to dip your finger into the ocean and lift a single drop of seawater to your eye, you would be holding a universe in just a single drop. There can be thousands, even millions of microscopic organisms, tiny plankton, algae, bacteria, larvae. They drift together in a rich, swirling soup. Many of them are translucent, looking like living glass. Others are shaped like alien sculptures or tiny jewels. Some of them are the architects of the air we breathe. Tiny organisms called phytoplankton, drifting near the surface, perform photosynthesis just like the trees we just left. Despite their microscopic size, these algae produce more than half of Earth's breathable oxygen. Think of that. Every other breath you take comes from the ocean. With each exhale you release tonight, remember that the ocean is breathing with you. And as the sun begins to set in our imagination, painting the water in shades of gold and violet, some of these tiny creatures begin to wake up in a different way. They begin to glow. Imagine walking along a quiet beach at night. The sand is cool under your feet. The air is still. You look out at the waves crashing gently against the shore, and you see something magical. The waves are glowing. They are lit with an eerie, beautiful blue-green light. This is not magic. It is biology. It is caused by tiny living things known as bioluminescent plankton. When they are disturbed by the movement of the water or the swirl of a swimmer's hand, they release a flash of cold light. It is a chemical reaction inside their bodies. In places like Mosquito Bay in Puerto Rico or the Maldives, this glow can light up entire shorelines, turning the sea into a shimmering DREAMSCAPE. No electricity, no wires, just life, finding a way to shine in the dark. And they are not alone. Bioluminescence has evolved over 40 times across the tree of life. From bacteria to fungi, from squid to jellyfish. In the deep ocean, where sunlight never reaches, bioluminescence is everywhere, a flickering, drifting constellation of living stars. Imagine yourself floating in that warm, glowing water. Every time you move your hand, a trail of soft blue light follows you. You are painting with light. You are bathing in stardust, both from the sky above and the sea below. The chemistry is elegant, simple, silent, and stunning. A shared language of glow that life has written again and again. As the glow of the bioluminescent waves fades gently from our mind's eye, we find ourselves drifting upward. We are lighter than air now, rising with the mist. Carried on the soft currents of the night, we are traveling to a place where the air is thick with life, where green stretches out in every direction like a living ocean. We are arriving at the Amazon rainforest, but we are not here to see the jaguars or the bright macaws. We are here to witness a miracle of breath. The Amazon rainforest doesn't just absorb rain, it creates it. Imagine standing under the vast canopy. The light here is dappled and soft, filtered through layers of emerald leaves. It is humid and warm, like a gentle embrace. Every day, as the sunlight warms the tops of the trees, billions of leaves begin to work in unison. They release moisture into the air through a process called transpiration. It is a silent exhalation. Water, drawn up from the deep soil, travels through the trunk, out to the branches, and is released as vapor into the sky. This vapor rises, invisible at first, then cooling and condensing into clouds. These are not just ordinary clouds. They are flying rivers, vast streams of moisture flowing above the forest. Eventually, They become too heavy to stay aloft, and they fall again as rain, feeding the forest below. It is a cycle so vast and efficient that the Amazon generates much of its own weather. It is a self-sustaining loop of water and breath. The forest breathes out, the sky breathes in. The sky breathes out rain, the forest breathes in life. This rhythm helps regulate the climate of an entire continent. It whispers to the atmosphere, cooling the air, stabilizing the winds. To stand here is to stand inside the lungs of the world. Close your eyes and imagine that rhythm. Inhale, ... the vapor rising. Exhale, the gentle rain falling. It is a slow, steady pulse that has kept the heart of South America beating for millions of years. Let that rhythm soothe you. There is no urgency here, just the slow, ancient exchange of water and air. Now, let the humid air of the rainforest fade. The green turns to gold. The air becomes crisp, cool, and dry. We are traveling north to a quiet grove in the mountains of Utah. Here, the wind moves differently. It rustles through thousands of leaves that seem to tremble and dance, even in the slightest breeze. These are quaking aspens. At first glance, it looks like a forest of individual trees. White trunks, tall and slender, reaching for the blue sky. But this grove holds a secret that challenges everything we think we know about: individuality. This is Pando, and Pando is not a forest. Pando is a single tree. Beneath the soil, deep under the grass and the fallen leaves, lies a massive, interconnected root system. Every trunk you see above ground is genetically identical to the one next to it. They are not siblings. They are part of the same body. Pando is a clonal colony. It does not reproduce with seeds. Instead, it sends up new stems from its roots, generation after generation. When one trunk grows old and falls, another rises to take its place, fed by the same ancient heart. Scientists estimate that this single organism weighs over 6,000 tons. But even more breathtaking is its age. This root system may be over 80,000 years old. Pause and let that number settle in your mind. 80,000 years. That means this tree began growing when woolly mammoths still walked the earth. It was here during the last ice age. It was here when glaciers covered the land. It was here as civilizations rose and fell, as cities were built and abandoned. Through it all, Pando has remained quiet, still, enduring. It has survived fires, storms, and the crushing weight of ice. It is a forest that is also a single being. Imagine sitting with your back against one of these white trunks. You can feel the solid strength of it. You are leaning against a creature that has mastered the art of survival through connection. Though the individual trunks may die and regrow, the organism as a whole endures. It is a profound reminder that life is tenacious. It finds a way to hold on. It finds a way to keep growing, rooted in place and reaching always toward the sky. In the presence of such ancient stillness, your own worries feel small, temporary, and fleeting. You are safe here, in the shade of the trembling giant. The wind picks up now, carrying us away from the mountains, further and further south. We drift over continents and oceans until the world turns white. We have arrived at the bottom of the world, Antarctica. It is cold here, but it is a beautiful, crystalline cold. The air is pure. The silence is vast, broken only by the sound of ice shifting and the call of the wind. On the rocky shores, amidst the snow, life is playing out a scene of incredible tenderness. We often think of romance as a human concept, but here, On the frozen beaches, penguins, specifically the Adelie and Gentoo penguins, have their own language of love, and it involves a pebble. When it is time to find a mate and build a home, a male penguin begins a very serious search. He is looking for a stone, but not just any stone. It must be perfect. It must be smooth. It must be round. It must be the right size to be carried in a beak. He searches carefully, sifting through the rocks on the shore. He might inspect dozens, turning them over, rejecting the ones that are too rough or too jagged. He puts as much care into this search as a jeweler selecting a diamond. When he finally finds the perfect pebble, he waddles back to the female he has chosen. He approaches her with a small bow, a gesture of respect and offering. He places the pebble at her feet. It is a proposal, a gift. If she accepts him, she takes the pebble and places it in her nest. And together, stone by stone, pebble by pebble, they build a home. These stone nests are crucial. They keep their precious eggs elevated above the melting snow and the cold ground. They are built of rocks, but they are founded on care. Sometimes, a penguin will try to sneak a particularly nice stone from a neighbor's nest, leading to quiet little dramas on the beach. But mostly, it is a scene of cooperation. A partnership forged in the coldest place on earth. In this frozen quiet, love speaks not in sonnets or songs, but with the soft clink of stone against stone. It is a simple, enduring gesture, a promise to weather the storms together. Let the image of the penguins warm you. Two small hearts beating against the cold. A home built of stones and trust. From the icy shore, let us slip into the water. We are sliding beneath the surface.
Down here, the
into
light
the deep,
from the surface
dark indigo
fades
of the
away.
ocean.
It is quiet,
The water is cold,
or so
but you
it
are
seems.
not cold.
But
You are
if you
simply
listen,
observing, floating
truly
down
listen,
here. The
there
light
is
from the
a
surface
sound.
fades away.
It is low,
It is
deep,
quiet.
a
Or so it
vibration
seems.
more than a noise.
But if you listen,
it is a hum
truly listen,
that resonates in your chest.
there is a sound.
It is the song
It is low,
of the whale.
deep,
Beneath the
a vibration
surface of the sea,
more than a noise.
songs drift through
It is
the
a
dark
hum that
long,
resonates in
slow
your chest.
and haunting.
It is the song of
The
the whale
calls of
beneath
blue
the surface
whales
of the
can
sea.
travel for thousands
Songs
of
drift
miles
through the dark
underwater.
long, slow and haunting.
Think of the distance.
The calls of
A
blue
whale
whales can
singing
travel
off
for
the
thousands
coast
of miles
of one
underwater.
continent might be
Think of the
heard by
distance.
another whale,
A whale
across
singing
an
off the
entire
coast of one
ocean
continent
basin.
might be heard by
These
another whale
low-frequency
across an entire ocean
vocalizations
basin.
are among the
These
loudest and
low-frequency
deepest
vocalizations
sounds made
are
by
among the
any
loudest
animal.
and deepest sounds
But they are not loud
made
in
by
a
any
way
animal.
that hurts.
But they are
They
not
are
loud
in a way that
hurts.
fills the void.
They are loud
They
in a way
echo
that
from
fills
coast
the void.
to coast.
They
Whales
echo from coast to coast.
use these songs
Whales
to
use
find
these
mates,
songs to find
to
mates,
navigate the featureless deep, and to communicate across the vast distances that separate them.
We don't fully understand
everything they are
but
saying,
we know it matters.
But we know
Each
it
population
matters.
has its own
Each
dialect.
population has its
Some
own
species,
dialect.
like the humpback,
Some
create
species,
long,
like
intricate
the humpback,
melodies.
create
These
long,
songs evolve
intricate
over time.
melodies.
They change
These
from year
songs
to year,
evolve over
with
time.
different whales
They
contributing new
change from year
phrases,
to year,
passed
with
down
different
like oral
whales
traditions.
contributing new
Imagine
phrases,
a song that
passed
changes like
down
the seasons,
oral
a
traditions.
song that is shared across a
Imagine
watery
a song
world.
that
Among
changes
creatures
like the
who have roamed
seasons.
Earth's oceans
A
for
song
longer
that
than
is
any
shared
human
across
memory.
a watery world.
They are telling
among
stories in the
creatures
dark.
who have roamed
They are
Earth's
singing to
oceans
say,
for longer
"I am
than
here.
any human memory.
You are not alone.
They are telling stories in the dark. They are singing to say,
Drifting
I am
in this
here.
deep blue space,
You are not
surrounded
alone.
by the gentle,
Drifting in
rhythmic
this
songs
deep
of
blue
giants.
space,
You can
surrounded
feel a
by the
sense of
gentle,
profound
rhythmic
peace.
songs of
The ocean
giants.
is not empty.
You can feel
It
a
is
sense
teeming
of
with
profound
connection.
peace.
It is a vast
The
living world
ocean
beneath
is
the
not
surface,
empty.
pulsing with currents and
with
song,
connection.
even when the
It is a
ocean
vast
seems wild
living
on the
world
surface.
beneath the
Down
surface,
here, in the deep,
pulsing
there is a
with
slowness,
currents and song.
a gravity, dot,
Even when
and
the
just
ocean
as the whales
seems
drift,
wild on the surface,
so do we.
Down here,
We drift
in
back
the
up
deep,
toward
there
the
is
surface,
a slowness,
breaking
a
through the
gravity,
water into the
and
cool
just
night
as
air.
the whales drift,
The moon is high
so
above us
do
now.
we. We
A
drift
perfect,
back up
glowing
toward
orb
the surface,
reflecting on the water.
breaking through the water
And as we look
into
up at
the
the
cool
moon,
night air.
we remember
The
that
moon
it,
is
too,
high above
has a
us
pull
now,
on the
a
life below.
perfect, glowing
On certain
orb
nights of the year,
reflecting on the water.
under the light of a full
And
moon,
as we look up at the moon,
coral reefs
we
begin to
remember
glow,
that
not with light,
it too
but with life,
has a pull
all
on
at
the
once.
life below.
Corals across
On
entire
certain
reefs
nights of the
release
year,
their eggs and
under the
sperm
light
into the
of a
ocean
full moon,
in a
the
synchronized
coral
spawning
reefs
event.
begin to glow,
It happens
not
with breathtaking
light,
precision,
but with life.
often just once a year.
It happens with
timed to the
breathtaking
lunar
precision,
cycle.
often
The moon's
just
gravity,
once a
its
year,
light,
timed to the
and
lunar
its rhythm
cycle.
cue the corals to act
The
together.
moon's gravity,
For a brief
its
window,
light, and its
the
rhythm
water is
cue the
filled with
corals
drifting
to act
life,
together.
looking like an
For a
underwater
brief window,
snowstorm
the
moving
water
upward.
is filled with
It is a
drifting
celebration
life,
of renewal.
looking like an
Though these
underwater
animals are
snowstorm
stationary,
moving
rooted
upward.
to the reef like stones,
It is a
they
celebration
still
of
dance
renewal.
to the rhythm of
Though
celestial
these
bodies.
animals are stationary,
In the quiet reef,
rooted
the
to the
moon
reef
calls,
like
and life
stones,
answers.
they still dance
It is
to
a
the
reminder
rhythm of
that
celestial
everything is
bodies.
connected.
In the
The
quiet
stone
reef,
deep in the earth,
the moon calls,
the water
and
in the
life
cloud,
answers.
the whale in the
It
deep,
is a reminder
and the
that
moon in the
everything
sky,
is connected.
and you, lying in
The
your
stone
bed,
deep
breathing
in the
slowly,
earth,
in
the water
and
in
out,
the cloud, the whale
You are
in the
part
deep,
of this
and the
rhythm.
moon in the sky.
Your body has its own
and you,
tides, its own
lying in your
seasons.
bed, breathing
You are
slowly
not separate from
in
nature.
dot dot
You are
dot
nature.
and out
As we
dot
prepare
dot.
to move to the
You
next
are
part of our journey,
this rhythm.
let your body feel
has
heavy.
its own tides,
Let your muscles
its own
soften.
seasons.
Let
you
your
are
jaw
not separate
undash
from
clench.
nature. You
We have travelled
are
from the
nature.
rainforests to the
As
ice
we
caps,
prepare to
from the deep
move
sea
to the next
to the
part of
moonlit
our
reef.
journey,
But
let
there
your
are still
body
wonders
feel
to see.
heavy. Let
Wonders
your
that are
muscles
smaller,
soften.
quieter,
Let your
and
jaw
perhaps even more
unclench.
magical. So
We
stay
have
with me.
travelled from the
Keep your eyes
rainforests
closed.
to the ice caps,
Keep your
from
breath
the
steady.
deep sea
The
to the
night is
moonlit
long,
reef.
and we have
But there
nowhere
are
else
still
to be.
wonders to
As the
see.
coral reef continues
Wonders
its
that
silent,
are smaller,
synchronized dance
quieter,
beneath the
and
moon.
perhaps
Let us
even
drift away
more
from
magical.
the ocean for a moment.
So stay with
Let
me.
us return to
Keep
the land,
your eyes closed.
where the air is
Keep
warm
your
and
breath
filled
steady.
with the scent of
The
blooming
night
jasmine
is long,
and damp earth.
and we have nowhere
We are entering
else
a
to
garden.
be.
It
As
is a
the
quiet
coral
place,
reef continues
overgrown
its
and
silent,
peaceful.
synchronized
Here,
dance
the wonders
beneath
are
the
not
moon,
massive like the
let
whale,
us drift
nor
away
ancient
from the
like the
ocean
Pando
for a
forest.
moment.
Here,
Let
the
us
wonders are
return to
delicate.
the land,
They are
where the
hidden
air
in
is
plain
warm
sight,
and
waiting
filled
for the
with the
eye that
scent
takes
of
the time
blooming
to truly
jasmine
look.
and damp earth.
Imagine a flash of colour
We are
moving through the
entering a
leaves.
garden.
A brilliant,
It is a quiet
iridescent
place,
blue dot.
overgrown and
It is a morpher
peaceful.
butterfly, flitting
Here,
between the
the
shadows
wonders are
and the
not
sunbeams.
massive like the
Its
whale,
wings are a shocking,
nor ancient
electric
like
blue
the Pando
that seems
forest.
to glow from within.
Here, the wonders
It is one
are
of the most
delicate.
beautiful sights
They
in
are
the natural
hidden
world.
in plain sight,
But here is
waiting
a secret
for the
that
eye
feels
that takes the
almost
time
like
to
a dream.
truly look.
The colour blue
Imagine
is
a flash
incredibly
of
rare
colour
in nature.
moving through the leaves.
Look around
a
you at
brilliant,
the sky,
iridescent blue.
the ocean, the flowers.
It is a morpher butterfly,
seems everywhere,
flitting between
yet
the
in
shadows
the living
and the
world,
sunbeams.
True blue
Its
pigment
wings are a
is almost
shocking
impossible to
electric
find.
blue that seems
Most
to
blue
glow
creatures,
from
like
within.
the blue jay,
It is one
peacock,
of the most
or this
beautiful
shimmering
sights
butterfly,
in the
do
natural
not
world.
actually contain
But
blue
here
pigment
is a
at all.
secret that feels
Instead,
almost
their
like
colour
a dream.
comes from structure.
The colour blue
If you
is
were to look at the
incredibly
wing
rare
of this
in
butterfly
nature.
under a microscope,
Look around
you
you
would
at
see
the
tiny,
sky,
intricate
the
ridges
ocean,
and layers.
the flowers.
These
blue
microscopic
seems
patterns
everywhere.
are designed
Yet
to
in the
bend
living
and scatter
world,
light.
true blue
They reflect
pigment
only the
is
blue
almost
wavelengths back to
impossible
your
to
eye,
find.
while absorbing everything
Most
else.
blue
It is
creatures
an optical
like the
illusion
blue jay,
made by shape,
the peacock,
not dye.
or this shimmering
It is a trick
butterfly
of the
do
light.
not
So when
actually
you see that
contain
flash
blue
of blue
pigment
in the
at
wild,
all.
You are not
Instead,
just seeing
their
color.
color comes from
You are
structure.
seeing light dancing
If you
on
were
the
to
edge
look
of
at the
biology
wing of this
and physics.
butterfly under a
You
microscope,
are seeing a tiny
you would
piece of
see
architecture
tiny,
built to
intricate
capture the
ridges
sky.
and layers.
It vanishes as
These
the butterfly
microscopic
folds its
patterns
wings,
are designed
showing
to
only
bend
the brown
and scatter
underside,
light.
blending
They
perfectly
reflect
with the
only
bark
the
of a
blue
tree.
wavelengths
Now
back to
you
your
see it.
eye,
Now
while
you don't.
absorbing
A
everything
gentle
else.
magic trick played by nature
It is an
to keep
optical
itself safe.
illusion made
As
by
the sun
shape,
begins to dip
not
lower in our
dye.
imaginary garden,
It is a trick of
the shadows
light.
lengthen.
So when
The
you
bright
see
blue
that
of the
flash
day
of
gives
blue
way to
in
the
the
velvety
wild,
indigo of
you are
twilight.
not just seeing
And
color.
with the coming of
You
the
are
dark,
seeing light
another
dancing
creature
on the
takes to
edge
the
of
air.
biology and
This
physics.
one does not shimmer.
You are seeing
does not
a
flash.
tiny piece of
In
architecture
fact,
built
if you
to
aren't looking
capture the
directly at
sky.
it, you might never know it was there.
As the butterfly
An owl
folds
glides
its
from the
wings,
branch of an
showing
old oak
only
tree.
the brown
When an
underside,
owl flies,
blending
the air
perfectly
remains
with the
still.
bark of a tree.
Its flight is nearly silent.
Now you
A
see
perfected
it,
stealth
now you
evolved
don't.
over millions of
A
years.
gentle magic trick
Most
played
birds,
by nature
when they flap their
to keep
wings,
itself
create
safe.
a whoosh or a flutter.
As the sun begins
But
to
the
dip
owl
lower
has a
in our
secret weapon
imaginary
hidden in its
garden,
feathers.
the shadows
The leading
lengthen.
edges of its
The
primary
bright
feathers are
blue
serrated
of the day
like a
gives
cone,
way to the
breaking up the
velvety
turbulence
indigo
of the air.
of twilight.
The rest of the wing
And
is
with the
covered
coming
in a
of the
velvety
dark,
coating that
another
muffles the
creature
sound
takes to the
of the air flowing
This
over it.
one does not
Even
shimmer.
the spacing
It
of
does
the
not flash.
feathers is
In
tuned to
fact,
reduce noise.
if you aren't
It
looking
moves
directly at it,
through the
you might
darkness
never know
like a shadow
it was there.
with wings.
An
No
owl
sound,
glides from
no
the branch
warning,
of an old
just
oak
a
tree.
soft, floating
When an owl
presence.
flies, the
Imagine
air
that
remains
sensation
still.
for a moment.
Its
Moving
flight
through
is
the
nearly
world
silent.
without creating a ripple.
perfected stealth
Gliding through the
evolved
air
over
with such
millions
grace
of
that
years.
the wind itself
Most
doesn't
birds,
notice
when
you.
they flap their wings,
The owl reminds
create
us
a
that power
whoosh
doesn't
or a
always
flutter.
have to be loud.
But the owl
Sometimes
has a
the
secret
most capable
weapon
things
hidden
are the
in its
quietest.
feathers.
In the silence
The
of the
leading
owl's
edges
flight,
of its
the
primary
night becomes a
feathers are
soft,
serrated
welcoming
like
place.
a comb, breaking
place
up
where
the
you can move
turbulence
freely,
of the air.
unburdened by noise
The rest
or
of the wing
expectation.
is covered
Let
in a
the
velvety
silence of the
coating
owl
that
wrap
muffles the
around you.
sound of the air
Let the
flowing
quiet
over
of the
it.
room you are in deepen.
Even the spacing
Inhale,
of the feathers is tuned
stillness.
to reduce noise.
Exhale,
It moves
silence.
through the
Now,
darkness like a shadow
let us leave the
with
garden
wings.
and the sky
No sound,
and dip our toes
no
back
warning,
into the water.
just a
But
soft,
this time,
floating
we are not
presence.
going to the deep ocean.
Imagine that
We are
sensation
going to the
for a
warm
moment,
coastal waters of the
moving through the
Mediterranean
world
here.
without creating
Drifting
a ripple.
in the gentle currents
Gliding through
is a
the
creature
air
that
with
defies
such
one of
grace
nature's
that the
most
wind
universal
itself
laws.
doesn't notice
It is
you.
a tiny, bell-shaped
The
jellyfish,
owl reminds us
no bigger
that
than a
power
fingernail.
doesn't always have to
It is
be
called
loud.
Toratopsis dohrnii,
Sometimes
but it
the
is
most
better known by
capable
another name,
things are the
the
quietest.
immortal jellyfish.
In the silence
Most
of
living
the owl's
things have a
flight,
clear
the
journey.
night becomes
We are
a
born,
soft,
we grow,
welcoming
we
place.
age.
A place
But this
where you can
jellyfish
move
has a
freely,
remarkable ability.
unburdened by
When it is
noise
injured
or
or when
expectation.
food is scarce,
Let the
or
silence
even
of
when
the
it
owl
simply grows
wrap
old,
around you.
it does not
Let
die.
the quiet of the
Instead,
room you are
it
in
hits a
deepen.
biological reset
Inhale,
button. It can revert
stillness.
its body to an earlier stage
Exhale,
of life, like a butterfly
silence.
turning back into a caterpillar, or a frog turning back into a tadpole. The jellyfish returns to its polyp form, the jellyfish equivalent of childhood. It reabsorbs its tentacles. It sinks to the sea floor, and then, from that tiny polyp, it begins to grow again. This process isn't just a theory. It has been observed repeatedly in labs. The jellyfish can cycle through its life stages over and over again. Potentially, it can do this forever. Here, floating quietly in the sea, is a creature that rewinds time. Not once, but again and again. It doesn't worry about the future. It doesn't mourn the past. If life becomes too difficult, it simply starts over. It retreats, rests, and renews. Think of that as you lie in the dark. Sleep is your own little way of resetting. Tonight, you get to put down the weight of who you have been all day. You get to close your eyes, drift back into the dark, and tomorrow you will wake up fresh. you will begin again. Life is not a straight line. It is a circle. A cycle of waking and sleeping, growing and resting. You are part of that cycle, safe in the rhythm of renewal. Let's move from the water to a warm, dry place. A nest hidden safely away in the tall grass. Inside the nest, there are eggs, smooth, warm, and still. We tend to think of an egg as a silent object, a sealed world waiting to break open. But if we could lean in very, very close, we might hear something surprising. Baby chicks talk to their mothers before they even hatch. Long before a chick breaks free from its shell, it begins to chirp. Soft, rhythmic sounds from inside the egg. These calls are not just random noise. They are a conversation. The mother hen responds to these chirps, adjusting her position on the nest, sometimes softly clucking in return to reassure the life growing beneath her. Even more incredibly, the unhatched siblings can hear each other. They communicate through the shells, helping to coordinate their hatching times so they can enter the world together. Some researchers believe this prenatal communication helps prepare the chick for life outside, guiding their breathing rhythms. The egg, it turns out, is not silent. It is alive, with tiny voices whispering their arrival. It is a gentle reminder that connection begins before we can even see it. Even when we feel isolated, enclosed in our own little shells, there are signals passing back and forth. A heartbeat, a breath, a call. You are never truly alone. There is always a soft cluck of reassurance from the universe. If you listen closely enough, and speaking of listening to the invisible, let us look up once more, high above the nest. High above the garden, a flock of birds is flying. They are traveling thousands of miles, crossing mountains, oceans, and continents to return to their nesting sites. How do they find their way? How do they fly over open water with no landmarks, no maps, and still arrive with pinpoint precision? The secret lies deep within their biology. They have the ability to sense the Earth's magnetic field all around us. Invisible lines of force stretch from the North Pole to the South Pole. We cannot see them. We cannot feel them. But to a bird, they are as real as the wind. Some birds have tiny crystals of magnetite in their beaks that act like internal compasses. Others may use specialized proteins in their eyes that allow them to actually see magnetic fields as patterns of light or color. This magnetic sense, called magnetoception, works alongside the sun and the stars to guide their way. It is an ancient map etched into their nervous system. They fly home not just by memory, but by feeling the invisible forces that surround the Earth itself. They trust the invisible. They surrender to the pull of the planet. They simply let the Earth guide them home. You can do that too. You don't need to know exactly where you are going tomorrow. You don't need a map for every step of your life. There are forces guiding you: instinct, intuition, the natural rhythm of your own heart. For now, your only destination is sleep, and the path there is already laid out for you. Just follow the pull of gravity. Follow the heaviness in your eyelids. Follow the slow, steady beat of your breath in ... and out ... The Earth has a magnetic field that protects us, wrapping the planet in a shield against the solar wind. And in a way, sleep is your shield. It is the field that protects your mind, restoring you, guiding you back to yourself. We have seen the blue that is not paint. We have heard the silence of the owl. We have watched the jellyfish turn back time, and heard the chicks whisper in their shells. The world is full of these quiet miracles. They are happening right now while you rest. The butterfly is folding its wings. The bird is sensing the north. The jellyfish is drifting. They are all doing their work so you don't have to. You can let go. The night is a soft container for all these stories, and you are safe inside it. Feel the bed supporting you. It is solid, real. Feel the blanket covering you. It is warm, protective. Feel the air entering your lungs. It is the same air the forest breathed out. You are connected. You are held as we move toward the final part of our journey. We are going to explore the relationship between time and stillness. We are going to look at things that wait, things that sleep for centuries. And we will find that in the natural world, patience is the greatest superpower of all. So keep drifting. Let your thoughts float by like clouds in the night sky. Just rest. We have traveled across space, through forests and under the sea. But now, I invite you to travel through something else. Something invisible, yet heavy with meaning. We are going to travel through time. In our daily lives, time feels fast. It ticks by in seconds, minutes, and hours. It is a deadline, a schedule, a race, but the earth keeps a different kind of time. Deep time, slow time, the kind of time that moves as gently as a glacier, or as patiently as a stone. And in this slow, quiet timeline, there are miracles of waiting. Imagine a seed. It is a tiny, brown object, no bigger than a fingernail. It looks dry, wrinkled, and lifeless. You might mistake it for a pebble or a bit of debris. This particular seed is a date palm seed, and it has been resting in a jar, buried beneath the dry, hot sands of the Judean desert, near an ancient fortress. Around it, the world changed. Empires rose and fell. Armies marched and retreated. Cities were built, destroyed, and built again. Seasons turned into centuries. The wind shifted the sands. The sun rose and set over 700,000 times. And through it all, the seed waited. It lay in total darkness, total silence. It was sleeping. Seeds are tiny time travelers. Inside their hard outer shells, they carry the blueprint for life, and sometimes an incredible patience. They can remain dormant for decades, even centuries, waiting for the perfect moment to sprout. In the case of this date palm seed, it waited for 2,000 years, to millennia of silence. Then, in modern times, scientists found it. They didn't know if the spark of life was still inside, but they planted it. They gave it water. They gave it warmth. And the seed, sensing that its long wait was finally over, woke up. It sent out a tiny white root. It pushed a green shoot up toward the light. It grew into a healthy tree, which they named Methuselah. It had slept through history, only to breathe again in the present day. Think of that resilience. Think of that ability to simply pause. Nature teaches us that nothing is ever truly lost. It is sometimes just waiting, resting, gathering strength for the right moment. There is a profound comfort in that. You do not always have to be growing. You do not always have to be moving forward. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is wait, to rest, to let the storms of the world blow over you, knowing that your time to rise will come again. Tonight, you are that seed. You are curled up, safe and warm. You are taking a pause from the world, and just like the date palm, you have everything you need inside you to wake up, tomorrow and grow. But for now, sleep, inhale, patience, exhale. The rush dot, as we ponder the mystery of that ancient seed, let us bring our attention back to something closer to home. Let us bring it back to you. We began this story by telling you that you are made of stardust, that your bones are forged from the elements of the cosmos. But there is another truth about you, one that connects you to the fireflies in the garden and the plankton in the sea. You shine. It is not poetry. It is biology, just like the jellyfish and the waves we imagined earlier. The human body emits light. You are bioluminescent. This light is very faint, about 1,000 times weaker than what our eyes can detect, but sensitive cameras have captured it. It is a soft, rhythmic glow produced by tiny, biochemical reactions within your cells. As free radicals interact with lipids and proteins inside you, they release photons, tiny pulses of light. Interestingly, this glow is not constant. It fluctuates. It follows the rhythm of your day. It tends to be lowest in the morning and peaks in the late afternoon. Your face, in particular, glows the brightest. Even now, as you lie in the dark, you are not entirely dark. You are shimmering softly. You are a being of light, humming with energy. Even in your deepest rest, you shine more than you know. Let this image fill your mind. Imagine looking at yourself not in a mirror, but through a lens that sees your energy. You would see a soft halo, a gentle radiance extending from your skin. You are a lighthouse in the quiet of the room, a warm, glowing presence. You don't have to do anything to shine. You don't have to achieve anything, or say anything, or prove anything. It is simply who you are. It is woven into the very fabric of your being. So, as you drift deeper into relaxation, imagine that soft light wrapping around you like a cocoon of your own energy, keeping you safe, keeping you warm. And while you glow, and while you rest, the plants of the world are doing something equally extraordinary. They are thinking. We often picture plants as passive, green decorations. We think of them as simple things that just sit there and wait for the sun. But in the quiet of the night, plants are busy. They are planning. Plants can actually do math to survive the night, during the day. They use sunlight to create sugars, which they store as starch. This starch is their battery, their food reserve. But when the sun goes down, photosynthesis stops. The solar panels turn off. For the long dark hours of the night, the plant must survive on what it has stored. If it eats the starch too fast, it will run out before dawn and starve. If it eats too slow, it wastes energy that could be used for growth. So, the plant performs a biological calculation. It measures the amount of starch it has. It estimates the length of the night, how many hours are left until the sun returns. And then it divides. It adjusts its metabolism to consume the starch at the perfect rate, ensuring that it lasts exactly until the first rays of morning light hit its leaves. It is not conscious math with numbers and chalkboards. It is a molecular arithmetic, a chemical wisdom, but it is accurate, astonishingly accurate. Inside every leaf outside your window right now, a quiet calculation is unfolding. Without eyes, without a brain, life is making a plan. It reminds us that intelligence comes in many forms. It is not just about logic or language. It is about awareness. It is about sensing the world and finding a harmonious way to live within it. Even in sleep, life thinks. Even in the dark, there is a plan. You can trust that. You can trust that your body, too, knows how to survive the night. It knows how to regulate your heartbeat. It knows how to heal your muscles. It knows how to dream. You don't have to manage it. You don't have to do the math. Your body has been doing this for millions of years. Let go of the need to control. Let the biological wisdom take over. And speaking of millions of years, let us take one final step back to look at the grandest timeline of all. Life on Earth is ancient. It is older than the trees, older than the sharks, older than the soil itself. Over the past 500 million years, our planet has experienced at least 5 mass extinction events. Times when the world went dark, times when the oceans turned sour, or the volcanoes erupted, or the asteroids fell. Each time, the majority of species were wiped away. But here is the miracle. Life has never stopped. It has survived fire. It has survived ice. It has survived the crushing pressure of the deep and the thin air of the heights. Every time it seemed cornered, life found a new shape, a new strategy. When the dinosaurs fell, the small, quiet mammals, our ancestors, crawled out of the burrows. When the forests burned, the seeds waited underground. When the oceans warmed, the plankton adapted. Life is extraordinary, not because it is perfect, but because it persists. It endures. It reinvents itself. We are part of that story. You are part of that story. You are the descendant of survivors. You carry the DNA of creatures that lived through the ice ages. You carry the resilience of the first fish that dared to crawl onto land. The fact that you are here, breathing, alive, is proof that life is stubborn. It is a thread unbroken, stretching back to the very first spark in the warm, ancient oceans. So, whatever challenges you face in your waking life, remember what you are made of. You are made of stardust. You are made of resilience. You are made of the same stuff as the seed that waited 2,000 years. You can handle the dark. You can handle the weight, because morning always comes. It has come every day for 4 billion years, and it will come again tomorrow. For now, the world is quiet. The history books are closed. The math is done. The stars are drifting overhead. All that is left is the soft, steady rhythm of the present moment. Inhale, ... Deep peace. Exhale. Deep rest. We are nearing the end of our journey now. We have seen so much, traveled so far. From the microscopic glow of your own cells to the vast endurance of the planet itself. It is time to bring all these threads together. It is time to weave them into a final blanket of comfort. We will gently guide you toward the deepest part of the night, where the dreams are waiting. So, settle in. Let your body sink just a fraction deeper into the mattress. Let the last bits of tension melt away from your shoulders, your neck, your hands. You are entering the sanctuary of sleep. As we continue to drift through the quiet corridors of the night, we find ourselves thinking about memory. We often think of memory as something stored in the mind, a collection of images, faces, and feelings we carry with us. But the earth itself has a memory. It remembers what it once was, and it holds those memories in the landscape, written in stone, in sand, and in the deepest ice. Let us travel now to a place of immense, golden silence. The Sahara Desert today. If you were to stand there, you would see sand stretching endlessly to the horizon, shaped by the wind into dunes that looked like frozen waves. It is vast, hot, and dry, a place of solitude. But this landscape is deceiving. It is not just a desert. It is a memory of a garden, roughly 6,000 to 8,000 years ago. This golden sea was something else entirely. It was a lush, green paradise. Back then, the rains fell regularly. Rivers flowed where dry canyons now stand. Huge lakes shimmered under the African sun. It was a world teeming with life. Tall grasses waved in the breeze. Elephants, giraffes, and crocodiles lived there, roaming a landscape that looked more like the savannas of the south than the dunes we know today. Early humans lived there, too. They left behind cave paintings of this abundant life, drawings of swimming figures and grazing herds, hidden now in the rocky shelters of the desert. This period, known as the African humid period, was driven by subtle shifts in the Earth's orbit, a gentle tilt that invited the monsoons to travel further north. Eventually, the orbit shifted back. The rains faded, the green retreated, and the sand returned. But deep beneath the dunes, the evidence remains. Ancient riverbeds lie buried like sleeping veins. Fossilized trees and the roots of a lost world rest beneath the silence. The Sahara reminds us that nothing is permanent. The earth is fluid. What is desert today was once water. What is water may one day be land. There is a peace in accepting this. The landscapes of our lives change, too. Seasons of abundance give way to seasons of quiet. Seasons of activity give way to seasons of rest. The desert is not empty. It is simply resting. It is a place where the earth has paused, holding the memory of water in its heart, waiting for the cycle to turn once more. Let the image of that ancient green Sahara soothe you. Imagine the rain falling on the hot sand, the smell of wet earth rising, the grass springing up in fast motion in your mind. Life is always there, waiting just beneath the surface. From the dry sands, let us travel to the edge of the sea again. We are going to a quiet, shallow bay in Australia, known as Shark Bay. Here, rising from the turquoise water, are strange, rock-like formations. They look like rounded stones, or perhaps ancient stools left by giants. These are stromatolites, and they are among the oldest living connections to our past. They are not rocks, though they look like them. They are built by bacteria. Specifically, cyanobacteria, the same tiny microbes we spoke of earlier, the ones that first learned to breathe oxygen into the world. These microbial communities trap and bind sediments from the water. Layer by layer, year by year, century by century, they build these structures. Some of the fossilized stromatolites found on Earth date back over 3.5 billion years. They are the monuments of the earliest engineers, builders without tools, architects without eyes, for billions of years, before trees, before flowers, before dinosaurs. These quiet mounds were the dominant life on Earth. They stood in the ancient shallows, patiently turning sunlight into stone and air. They are the reason we are here. They laid the groundwork for the atmosphere we breathe tonight. Today, living stromatolites are rare, found only in a few special places like this bay. But here they stand, quiet, strange, ancient. Imagine standing in that warm, shallow water, running your hand over the rough surface of these living rocks. You are touching the deep history of the planet. You are touching the patience of 3 billion years. They teach us that great things are built slowly, layer by layer, breath by breath. You do not need to build your life all at once. You just need to lay down one layer at a time, trusting that over time you are building something that will last. Move with me now, away from the water to the high rocky slopes of a mountain. The air is thin and crisp here. The wind whistles through the crags. On the surface of the granite boulders, there are splashes of color: orange, bright yellow, pale green, and charcoal gray. They look like paint splattered by an artist's brush. These are lichens. You have seen them 1,000 times. On tree bark, on old stone walls, on the roofs of houses. But have you ever stopped to consider what they actually are? Lichens hold a surprising truth. They are not one single life form. They are two. A lichen is a partnership. It is a marriage between a fungus and an alga, or sometimes a cyanobacterium. It works like this. The fungus provides the house. It builds the structure, the tough outer skin that protects them from the wind, the cold, and the drying sun. It anchors them to the rock. The alga, nestled safely inside, provides the food. It uses photosynthesis to capture sunlight and turn it into sugar, feeding both itself and its partner together. They can survive in places where neither could survive alone. They thrive in the freezing Arctic tundra. They bake in the scorching desert. They cling to bare, windswept peaks. It is a relationship so close, so essential, that they have become a new organism entirely. Sometimes, the partnership is not perfectly equal. Sometimes the fungus dominates, but the result is resilience. A blended life form that can eat sunlight and live on stone. They are the pioneers. When a volcano erupts and creates new land, lichens are often the first to arrive. They break down the rock very slowly, turning it into soil so that mosses and ferns can eventually grow. Two species, one life. A quiet collaboration written onto the surface of the world as you lie in bed. Think of the support systems in your own life. The people, the comforts, the environment that holds you. We are all lichens in a way, partnerships of biology and spirit, inner life and outer world. We are never truly solitary. We are held together by connection, and now, as we speak of survival and resilience, we must meet the ultimate champion of endurance. We are going to shrink down again, back to the microscopic world. Meet the TARDIDE. You may know them by their nickname, water bears. And if you looked at one under a microscope, you would see why. They are tiny, less than 1 millimeter long. They have 8 little legs, and they look remarkably like wrinkled, microscopic gummy bears lumbering through a forest of moss. They are cute in a strange, alien way. But do not let their soft appearance fool you. These are the toughest creatures on Earth. Tardigrades can survive conditions that would destroy almost any other form of life. They can survive freezing temperatures close to absolute zero. They can survive boiling heat. They can survive crushing pressure stronger than the deepest ocean trench. They can withstand intense radiation. In 2007, scientists strapped some tardigrades to the outside of a rocket and launched them into space. They were exposed to the vacuum of the cosmos and the full glare of the sun. And when they came back to Earth, they were alive. How do they do it? They have a secret power called cryptobiosis. When the environment gets too dry or too harsh, the water bear does something incredible. It curls up into a little ball called a ton. It dries itself out almost completely. It expels the water from its body and replaces it with a special protective sugar that turns the inside of its cells into a kind of glass dot. Then, it simply ... stops. It suspends its metabolism. It pauses its life. It does not eat. It does not move. It does not age. It just waits. In this state, it is indestructible. It can stay this way for decades, perhaps even centuries. And then, one day, a drop of water falls. The rain returns. The moss gets wet. and the water bear wakes up. It rehydrates, uncurls its little legs, and goes about its day as if nothing happened. It is a miracle of suspended animation, a reminder that life does not always have to be charging forward. Sometimes the best strategy is to stop, to curl up, to wait for the conditions to improve. The water bear is the ultimate sleeper. It knows that rest is not the end of life. It is a bridge to the future. Tonight, you are entering your own state of rest. You are curling up in your own safe place. You are pausing the world. You are not checking emails. You are not solving problems. You are just waiting for the sun. And just like the water bear, when the morning comes, you will uncurl. You will rehydrate. You will rise, but not yet. Right now, the lesson is the pause, the stillness, the trust that you can let go of everything and still be safe. The earth is full of these quiet teachers. The desert that remembers the rain, the bacteria that builds stone, the fungus that holds the algae, the bear that sleeps in the void. They all tell us the same story. Life is resilient. It endures, and you are life, so you too will endure. Feel that truth settling into your bones. Feel the ancient strength of the stardust inside you. The night is deep. The silence is full. We are drifting now, leaving the microscopic world and floating back out into the open air. We are moving toward the water again, but this time to the strange and fluid world of the creatures that shape-shift. Because if the stones and the deserts teach us about stability, the ocean teaches us about flow. Let your mind become like water, fluid, soft, capable of taking any shape. We are going toward the coral reefs, where colors change in the blink of an eye and creatures dissolve into the sand. Stay with me. The journey continues deeper into the dream. We are drifting now, leaving the microscopic world of the tardigrade and the stillness of the stone builders. We are floating back out into the open air, moving toward the water again. But this time, we are traveling to a world that reminds us of the power of softness. If the mountains teach us about stability, the ocean teaches us about flow. Let your mind become like water, fluid, soft, capable of taking any shape. We are descending gently into the shallow, sun-dappled waters of the coast. The sand here is white and rippled by the tide. At first glance, the ocean floor looks empty, just sand, rocks, and drifting seaweed. But look closer. There is a creature here that is a master of vanishing. The cuttlefish is a soft-bodied wonder that can disappear in plain sight. It hovers over the sand, pulsating gently, and then, in the blink of an eye, it changes. Its skin is a living canvas. It can shift its color, its texture, and its pattern to match the environment perfectly. If it floats over sand, its skin becomes speckled and beige. If it moves near a rock, it can raise bumps on its skin to mimic the roughness of the stone. It paints itself anew with every breath. What makes this even more dreamlike is that cuttlefish are colorblind. They cannot see color the way we do, and yet they match their surroundings with uncanny accuracy. They sense the contrast, the brightness, and the texture of the world, and they become it. They teach us that you don't always have to stand out to be extraordinary. Sometimes there is a deep safety in blending in letting your edges soften until you are one with the world around you. In the quiet of the reef, disguise becomes art. Nearby, another creature moves with a strange, liquid grace. The octopus, like the cuttlefish, it can change color, but deep inside its cells, it is doing something even more profound in the cold depths. The octopus can rewrite its own genetic instructions, while most animals stick to the genetic code they were born with. The octopus can edit its own RNA. It can make real-time adjustments to how its genes are expressed at if the water gets too cold, or if it needs to think faster. It can fine-tune its biology on the fly. It can alter how its neurons work or how it senses the environment. It is not just adapting its behavior, it is adapting its very self. Imagine having that kind of flexibility, to know that you are not fixed in stone. You can change your mind. You can change your feelings. You can rewrite the script of your day, even in the final moments before sleep. Identity in the ocean is not a wall. It is a wave. It shifts with need, with opportunity, and with the currents of chance. And speaking of shifting, there is one creature here that takes the concept of letting go to its absolute limit. Resting on the sandy floor is a sea cucumber. It looks like a simple, soft shape, but it holds a remarkable secret. When it needs to navigate a tight space, or when it feels threatened, the sea cucumber can liquefy its body. It can alter the stiffness of its connective tissue. In seconds, it goes from firm and solid to nearly jelly-like. It can flow into cracks and crevices like water, pouring itself into safety, and then, just as quickly, it can firm up again. It is shape-shifting without bones, without muscles, without effort. Think of this as a metaphor for your own relaxation tonight. How often do we hold on to tension, staying rigid and tough because we think we have to? Imagine, just for a moment, that you can be like the sea cucumber. You can soften. You can liquefy the tension in your shoulders, in your back, in your legs. Let yourself melt into the mattress. Let your body flow into the shape of the bed, supported completely. You don't have to be solid right now. You can just be inhale, softness, exhale, flow. This fluidity isn't just found in the bodies of animals. It is found in the landscape itself. Water shapes the land, carving canyons and filling lakes. But sometimes, life shapes the water. Let us leave the ocean now and travel inland to the vast wild forests of Yellowstone National Park. Here, a river winds through the valley. It looks peaceful today, with tall trees shading its banks and clear water flowing over the stones. But this river looked very different just a few decades ago. The banks were eroding. The trees were shorter. The water was muddy then. Something changed. The wolves returned. When wolves were reintroduced to the park in the 1990s, they didn't just affect the animals they hunted. They reshaped the entire landscape. It started simply. The wolves kept the deer and elk moving, preventing them from grazing too heavily in one spot. Because the deer moved on, the willow and aspen trees along the riverbanks were able to grow tall again. The roots of these recovering trees stabilized the soil. The banks stopped collapsing. The erosion slowed down. And because the soil held firm, the river changed. It became narrower. It flowed deeper. It formed gentle, meandering pools. Beavers returned to build dams with the new trees. Birds returned to nest in the high branches. The return of a single species created a ripple effect that healed the water itself. The howl of the wolf, usually seen as a sound of the wild hunt, became a song of restoration. This is known as a trophic cascade, but we can think of it as the interconnectedness of all things. Nothing exists in isolation. The wolf is connected to the river. The river is connected to the tree. The tree is connected to the bird. and you are connected to it all, just as the wolf changed the river. Your rest tonight changes you. It stabilizes your own banks. It allows your own energy to grow tall again. It clears the muddy waters of the mind, allowing your thoughts to flow deep and clear. Everything affects everything else. A quiet night of sleep is not just good for you. It is good for the world you will step back into tomorrow. When you are rested, you are kinder. You are clearer. You are more like the stabilized river, steady, nurturing, and full of life. So let the river of your thoughts slow down. Let it meander. There is no need to rush to the sea. The water always gets there eventually. As we drift further along this river, watching the reflection of the stars in the calm water, we begin to notice the other creatures sharing this night with us. Creatures that have their own forms of brilliance. We often think that intelligence belongs to humans, or perhaps to the great apes and the dolphins. But the earth is full of quiet minds. Minds that solve puzzles without brains. Minds that count without numbers. We are going to visit the humble, the small, and the overlooked. We are going to find wisdom in the grass and in the hive. But first, let the sound of the river lull you deeper. Burble, ... Splash, ... Silence, ... Feel the fluidity of the water. Feel the adaptability of the octopus. Feel the softness of the sea cucumber. You are made of water, too. Your cells are filled with salty fluid, a memory of the ancient ocean where life began. Let that inner ocean settle. Let the waves inside you grow small and rhythmic. You are fluid. You are flexible. You are safe as the river flows gently in our minds. Carrying away the debris of the day, we begin to realize that the world around us is not just alive. It is aware. We tend to measure intelligence by the size of a brain. We look at the great apes, the whales, and ourselves, and we see wisdom. But if we quiet our own minds and look closer at the small, the silent, and the still, we find that brilliance is everywhere. It is woven into the very fabric of the meadow and the forest floor. Let us return to the garden we visited earlier, where the blue butterfly sleeps. The air here is filled with a soft, low vibration. Bzzz ... A honeybee is moving from flower to flower. We know bees are busy. We know they dance to tell each other where the pollen is. But recently, we have discovered that bees can do something that was once thought to be unique to humans and a few other high-level animals. Bees can understand the concept of zero. It sounds like a simple thing. Zero, nothing, emptiness. But mathematically and philosophically, zero is a difficult idea. It requires a mind to understand that nothing is actually a value, that none is a quantity that can be compared to some. In quiet experiments, bees were trained to choose cards with fewer shapes on them to get a sweet reward. And when presented with a blank card with nothing on it, they correctly chose it as less than one. Think of what that means. Inside that tiny head, no bigger than a pin, there is a spark of abstract thought. There is an understanding of the void. The bee knows that nothing is something. It is a humble reminder that you don't need a big brain to understand the fundamental truths of the universe. Sometimes, the smallest creatures hold the deepest keys. And as the bee flies, it is not just talking to other bees. It is talking to the flowers. We often think of flowers as beautiful, passive things. They sit there, smelling sweet, waiting for a visitor. But the conversation between a flower and a bee is not a one-way street. Some flowers can actually hear. Research has shown that certain plants, like the evening primrose, can respond to the specific sound of a bee's wings. When a pollinator approaches, the vibration of its buzz triggers a reaction in the flower. Within just minutes of hearing that specific frequency, the flower sweetens its nectar. It increases the sugar concentration, making itself more attractive, more rewarding, exactly when the guest is arriving. The flower does not have ears. It does not have a nervous system like ours, but its petals act like concave satellite dishes, catching the sound waves and vibrating in resonance. It is a quiet dialogue happening right under our noses. The bee calls, and the flower answers. "I hear you," the flower says. "I am ready for you." The garden is not silent. It is full of these delicate, humming conversations. It is a symphony of responsiveness. Imagine that sensitivity. Imagine being so tuned in to the world that you can feel the vibration of a friend coming to visit, and you naturally sweeten your spirit to welcome them. Nature is always listening, and if flowers can listen, and bees can count, what about the things that have no shape at all? Let us look down at the damp soil beneath the layer of fallen leaves. Here lives an organism that defies categorization. It looks like a splash of yellow or orange jelly. It is called a slime mold. It is not a plant. It is not an animal. It is not a fungus. It is a single-celled organism that can spread out over a large area. It has no brain, no neurons, no eyes, and yet it is a master architect. If you place a slime mold in a maze, with food at 2 different exits, it will grow and explore every corridor. But once it finds the food, it does something incredible. It pulls back. It retracts its body from the dead ends and the empty paths, leaving behind only the single, most efficient route connecting the 2 points. It solves the maze. It doesn't think. It doesn't plan in the way we do. But somehow, through the chemical gradients of its own body, it figures it out. Scientists have even used slime molds to model transportation networks. When they placed food flakes on a map in the positions of major cities, the slime mold grew a network of tubes that looked almost exactly like the efficient railway system of Tokyo, a blob of jelly, dissolving the complex problem of logistics simply by feeling its way through. It is a form of distributed intelligence, a wisdom that lives in the body, not the head. This is a comforting thought for us, too. How often do we overthink things? How often do we try to solve the mazes of our lives with anxious logic, worrying about every turn? The slime mold teaches us to trust our gut, to trust our instinct. Sometimes you don't need to figure it out. You just need to feel where the nourishment is and let the rest go. You can pull back from the dead ends. You can simplify your path. Your body knows the way, even when your mind is confused. Inhale, ... trust. Exhale, ... overthinking. As we leave the garden floor, let us look up to the branches where the shadows are gathering. There is a bird sitting there, watching us with a sharp, dark eye. A crow. Crows are common. We see them in cities, in parks, on telephone wires. But behind those black eyes lies a mind that rivals the great apes. Crows can plan for the future in experiments. Crows have been seen saving tools for later use. They will hide food in secure places, not just because they are instinctually hoarding, but because they anticipate being hungry later. They have been known to barter. They will refuse a small treat now if they know that waiting means they will get a better treat later. Think about that. It requires patience. It requires self-control. It requires the ability to imagine a time that is not now. Crows also remember faces. If someone is kind to them, they remember. If someone is mean to them, they remember that too. Sometimes for years, they are watchers. They are learners. They are quiet minds in feathered coats, solving the puzzles of the urban landscape. The world is watching you, not with judgment, but with recognition. The crow on the wire, the bee on the flower, the slime mold in the soil, they are all fellow travelers. They are all thinking, sensing, and solving their own little problems. You are surrounded by intelligence. You are never walking through a dumb world. You are walking through a library of living thoughts, and sometimes that intelligence is focused entirely on love. Let us travel now to the deep, warm waters of the ocean, to meet a creature that has a name for itself. The dolphin. We know dolphins are smart. We know they play. But did you know they introduce themselves? In the shimmering blue, dolphins communicate with an intricate language of clicks and whistles. But each dolphin develops a unique signature whistle early in life. It is a specific melody, a sound that refers only to them. It is, for all intents and purposes, a name. Other dolphins learn and remember this whistle. They will use it to call out to that specific individual. Where is whistle sound? Here is whistle sound. When researchers played back a dolphin's signature whistle, the animal responded just like a person turning their head when they hear their name called. This isn't just mimicry. It is identity in the vast, featureless ocean where it is easy to get lost. They have found a way to say, I am me. You are you. We are us. They use these names to maintain bonds, to manage their friendships, to navigate their complex social circles. Imagine the ocean filled with these calls. Not just random noises, but names. Mothers calling for children. Friends calling for friends. A web of recognition stretching through the water. It speaks to a deep need in all living things to be known, to be recognized, to be called by name. You, too, have a name. You have an identity that is uniquely yours. And just as the dolphins hold space for each other in the deep, there are people and memories and forces in this world that hold space for you. You are known. Let that feeling of belonging wash over you. The bee belongs to the flower. The slime mold belongs to the soil. The crow belongs to the air. The dolphin belongs to the pod. And you belong to the peace of this night. Your mind, which has been busy all day, calculating like the plant, planning like the crow, navigating like the dolphin, can now rest. You don't need to be smart right now. You don't need to be efficient. You don't need to solve any mazes. The maze is done for today. The path has led you here, to this bed, to this pillow, to this moment of stillness. You have arrived at the center. The nourishment is rest. Feel your brain quieting down. The sparks of thought are slowing, spacing out, becoming gentle waves, in ... and out ... The intelligence of the universe is taking over the night shift. The stars are keeping time. The tides are managing the water. The trees are managing the air. You are off duty as we prepare for the next part of our journey. We are going to look at the invisible threads that connect us not just to the earth, but to the sky. We are going to explore the mysteries that float above us, and the colors that paint the dark. We are going to dissolve the boundaries between the ground and the air. So let your body feel heavy, anchored like the root of a tree, while your spirit feels light, floating like a bird on the wing. Sleep is coming. It is drifting closer, like a soft fog rolling in from the sea. The night deepens around us. The air grows stiller. The world outside your window has settled into its own quiet rhythm, a slow pulse that matches the beating of your heart. We have looked up at the birds and down at the flowers, but now we must look deeper. We must look at the threads that hold the world together, hidden beneath the surface, woven into the very soil and skin of the planet. Let us travel to the cool, damp forests of Oregon. Here, beneath the pines and the firs, lives a creature so vast it defies imagination. If you were walking through these woods, you wouldn't see it. You might see a few golden mushrooms popping up through the duff in autumn, but they are just the tiny fingertips of a sleeping giant. This is the Armillaria ostoya, also known as the honey mushroom. But it is not just a mushroom. It is the largest living organism on Earth. It is not a blue whale. It is not a giant sequoia. It is a fungus. This single individual spreads underground for over 2,400 acres. It is a vast network of mycelium black, thread-like roots that weave through the soil, connecting the forest floor in a silent web. It is estimated to be thousands of years old. Think of it. While humanity was building pyramids and writing the first books, this fungus was quietly growing, inch by inch, thread by thread, expanding its reach in the dark, damp earth. It lives in the dark, feeding on tree roots, breaking down the old to make way for the new. It is the forest's recycler, its hidden stomach, and its secret connector. It is not the tallest, or the fastest, or the brightest, but in size, age, and reach, it is unmatched. It reminds us that the most important things in life are often unseen. The foundations that hold us up, our values, our history, our love, like that mycelium, they are underground, they are vast, and they endure for thousands of years, the hidden world beneath. Your feet may be more alive than what grows above. Let that thought ground you. You are resting on a planet that is woven together by life. You are supported by a living net and sharing that soil with the giant. Fungus is another humble architect, the earthworm. We often overlook them. They seem simple, blind, silent, and slow. But beneath your feet, in the dark, damp soil, earthworms are hard at work shaping the world. Charles Darwin, the great naturalist, once spent years studying them. He said, "It may be doubted whether there are many other animals which have played so important a part in the history of the world." Why? Because they are the natural soil engineers. As they tunnel, they aerate the soil, creating space for roots to grow and for water and air to circulate. They eat decaying leaves and return them to the earth as nutrient-rich soil. They are constantly turning the world over, mixing the layers, redistributing the minerals. They are the reason the grass grows green. They are the reason the forests stand tall, quiet, tireless, unseen. There is a comfort in knowing that, while you sleep, the earthworms are tending the garden of the world. They are preparing the ground for tomorrow's flowers. You don't have to do it all. The earth has its own caretakers. Inhale, ... the scent of rich earth. Exhale, ... the need to work. Let us leave the temperate forest now and travel to a place where the soil is frozen hard and the wind howls across the ice. We are going back to the Arctic here. Survival is an art form, and one creature has mastered the art of changing its clothes. The Arctic fox in the summer, when the tundra is brown and grey with moss and rocks, the fox wears a coat of brown. It blends in perfectly with the shadows and the stone. But as the days shorten and the snow begins to fall, The fox prepares for the change. It molts. Its brown fur falls away, and in its place grows a coat of pure, brilliant white dot. It becomes a ghost of the snow, a shape-shifter. This white coat is not just for camouflage. It is incredibly thick, insulating the fox against temperatures as low as -50 degrees Celsius. It even grows fur on the soles of its feet, creating natural snowshoes that keep it warm and silent as it walks. Season by season, the fox becomes the land it walks upon. It does not fight the winter. It becomes the winter. Imagine that kind of harmony. To change with the seasons of your life. To put on a new coat when the world around you shifts. When life is warm and active, you are ready. When life is cold and quiet, you wrap yourself in warmth and blend into the stillness. You are safe in every season. Let us go even colder. Let us dive into the freezing waters of the Antarctic Ocean. Most fish, if you dropped them into water this cold, would freeze solid. Their blood would turn to ice. But here, swimming slowly through the frigid currents, is the ice fish. It survives because it has magic in its veins. The ice fish has evolved special proteins in its blood that act as natural antifreeze. These proteins bind to tiny ice crystals before they can grow, stopping the freeze before it starts. A biochemical shield against the cold. Even stranger, the ice fish has no red blood cells. It lacks hemoglobin. Its blood is clear, pale, almost translucent. It absorbs oxygen directly from the water into its plasma. It is a creature of glass and ice, moving like a phantom through the dark polar sea. Soft-blooded, cold-hearted, and utterly unique. It drifts. It survives. It thrives in a place where we think life shouldn't exist. It whispers to us that there is a way to survive anything. Even in the coldest moments, life creates a shield. You have your own antifreeze, your resilience, your hope, your ability to rest. You are warm in your bed tonight. Let the contrast soothe you. The ice fish is swimming in the dark so you can appreciate the warmth of your blanket. In ... warmth. Exhale ... cold. And now, as we turn our attention back to you, lying there in the comfort of your room, we must acknowledge one final, hidden weave. We have talked about the fungus connecting the trees and the worms mixing the soil. But there is a history woven into you, inside your body, written into the very code of your existence, is a library of ancient stories. Your DNA, we often think of our DNA as simply a mix of our parents, a little bit of mum, a little bit of dad. But it is so much more than that. Your body contains ancient viral DNA, millions of years ago. Ancient viruses interacted with our distant ancestors. They didn't just visit, they stayed. They inserted their genetic material into the cells. Over eons, these viral sequences were passed down from generation to generation. They mutated. They went silent. They became part of us today. Nearly 8% of the human genome comes from this ancient DNA. But here is the twist. You are not infected. You are enhanced. Evolution has repurposed these ancient visitors. Some of these viral genes are now vital to your biology. They are involved in everything from brain development to the formation of the placenta that allowed you to be born. You are, in a very real sense, a mosaic. You are stitched together from the history of life on Earth. You are not a single story. You are a library of survival. Those ancient battles, those long-forgotten encounters, they are now folded into the instructions that make you who you are. They are protecting you. They are building you. So when you feel small, Remember that you carry millions of years of history in every cell. You are the result of countless victories. You are the result of life finding a way to merge, to adapt, and to carry on. You are never empty. You are full of time. Let that feeling of fullness weigh you down into the mattress. You are heavy with history. You are grounded by your own existence. The fungus sleeps in the forest. The fox sleeps in the snow. The fish drifts in the ice. And you rest in the center of it all. The web of life is holding you. It is a hammock woven from stardust, DNA, and light. And it is strong enough to hold your weight. You can let go now. You can let go of the need to be anything other than what you are. A breathing, glowing, living part of this beautiful world. As we approach the end of our time together, we are going to look toward the horizon. We are going to see how the earth says goodnight. We are going to join the birds that sleep on the wind and drift into the final, deepest peace. The journey is almost done. The destination is close. Sleep is just a breath away. We are deep in the journey now. The world around us has softened into a blur of gentle impressions. The sharp edges of the day have worn smooth, like sea glass tumbling in the tide. In this space of deep relaxation, we are going to explore the ultimate skill of nature, the ability to surrender, to let go, to trust the pause. In our human lives, we often fight against the pause. We feel we must always be moving, always producing, always awake. But nature knows better. Nature knows that stopping is not the end of the road. It is part of the journey. Let us travel to the red, dusty heart of the Australian outback. Here, under the vast canopy of the Milky Way, a kangaroo rests in the shade of a gum tree. She is a master of timing deep inside her body. She holds a remarkable secret, the ability to pause time when conditions are harsh, when the drought comes, or food is scarcer. Mother kangaroo can delay the development of her own pregnancy. This phenomenon, known as embryonic diapause, allows her body to put a fertilized egg on hold. It is a biological pause button. She waits. She might be nurturing a joey in her pouch, while another waits in suspended animation, ready to resume growing only when the time is right, when the rains return, when the grass grows green again. The embryo wakes up and development continues. It is a brilliant strategy for survival in an unpredictable land, but it is also a lesson in trust. The kangaroo does not force the timing. She does not rush nature. She allows her body to wait for the season of abundance. Tonight, you can do the same. You can press pause on your worries. You can press pause on your plans. You can press pause on your ambition. Whatever projects you are growing, whatever dreams you are nurturing, they will be there when you wake up. You can suspend them in the safe amber of sleep. You don't have to carry them through the night. Let them wait. Let you wait. Inhale, ... The pause, exhale. The rush. If the kangaroo pauses time, there is another creature that pauses life itself. Let us return to the northern forests of North America, where the winter is biting and cold. The snow is deep. The ponds are frozen thick. Buried under the leaf litter, covered by snow, sits a tiny wood frog. It is not sleeping in a burrow. It is not hibernating deep underground. It is frozen solid. To the naked eye, it looks like a stone carved in the shape of a frog. Its heart has stopped beating. Its blood has stopped flowing. Its organs have shut down. Its body is stiff. It has surrendered completely to the winter, but it is not dead, thanks. 2 natural antifreeze compounds in its tissues high, levels of glucose and urea, the water inside its cells does not form damaging ice crystals. The cells remain intact, protected by sugar. For days or even weeks, the frog waits in this cryonic state. It exists in the space between life and death. And then the miracle happens. Spring returns. The sun warms the forest floor. The ice melts, and slowly, heartbeat by heartbeat, the frog thaws. Its blood begins to flow. Its lungs take a breath. It wakes up and hops away as if nothing happened. It defies the winter by becoming one with it. Imagine that level of surrender, to let the cold wash over you, to let your heart slow to a stop, knowing with absolute certainty that the warmth will return. Sleep is a little like that winter. It is a time to shut down the systems, to let the body go cold and still, to trust that the morning sun will thaw you out, and you will hop back into your life, refreshed and renewed. You are safe to freeze the frame. You are safe to stop. As we leave the frozen forest, let us go to a place where the sun never shines at all. We are diving down, past the coral reefs, past the whales, past the twilight zone. We are going to the deep ocean. Down here, the pressure is immense. The darkness is total, and yet it is teeming with life. It is a world of aliens living on our own planet. There are fish with lanterns on their heads. There are spindly crabs that walk like machines. There are jellyfish that drift like ghosts because there is no sunlight. Life here has invented its own light. Bioluminescence is everywhere. A flickering, drifting constellation of living stars in the abyss. Some creatures use this light to find mates. Others use it to hide, blending their glow with the faint light from above to vanish. And some, like the deep-sea bacteria living around hydrothermal vents, don't need light at all. They feed on chemicals from the Earth's crust, sulfur and iron spewing from the hot vents. They were born in the dark. They thrive in the dark. This deep ocean is often called the Midnight Zone. It sounds scary, but it is actually a cradle. Some scientists believe that life on Earth began here, in the warm breath of the stone vents. The deepest, darkest places may be the oldest cradles of all. Your sleep is like the deep ocean. It is a place of darkness, yes, but it is also a place of creation. In the midnight zone of your mind, deep below the surface thoughts, your brain is repairing itself. Your memories are being filed away. Your emotions are being processed. You don't need the light of consciousness down there. You have your own inner light. You have the ancient chemistry of rest working to keep you alive. So do not fear the deep sleep. Dive into it. Let the pressure of the blankets hold you. Let the darkness comfort you. You are returning to the cradle. And now, for the final image of this part of our journey, we are going to look up one last time. We are going to join the masters of the air, high above the waves. Where there is no land in sight, a bird is flying. It is a frigate bird, or perhaps an alpine swift. These birds travel vast distances. They can stay aloft for days, or even weeks, without ever landing. But every living thing needs to sleep. So how do they do it? They have mastered a remarkable skill. Sleeping on the wing, they engage in something called unihemispheric slow-wave sleep. This means they let one half of their brain go to sleep while the other half stays awake. One eye closes, the other stays open. One side of the brain dreams. The other side watches the wind and guides the flight. They drift in and out of awareness, cradled by the wind. Imagine that feeling, being high above the world, suspended in the air. You are moving, but you are resting. You are flying, but you are sleeping. Nature has found a way for rest and motion to coexist, a gentle balance of vigilance and surrender. In the quiet sky, dreams are carried on wings. You can do this too. You can let part of you drift away while the world carries you. You don't have to land to rest. You can rest right here in the middle of your journey. Imagine you are that bird. Feel the air under your wings. You don't have to flap. You just have to glide. The thermal currents are rising from the ocean, pushing you up, holding you safe. You can close your eyes. The wind has you. You are weightless. You are free. And as you glide, you look down at the world we have traveled through tonight. You see the glow of the plankton in the waves. You see the shadow of the owl in the forest. You see the white fox curled in the snow. You see the steam rising from the Amazon. You see the ancient Pando forest trembling in the breeze. All of it is connected. All of it is breathing. All of it is resting. The earth is a giant, living sleeper, spinning slowly in the starlight, and you are just one small, peaceful part of it. You have seen the miracles. You have heard the whispers. You have felt the connections. Now, there is nothing left to learn, nothing left to see, nothing left to do. The knowledge has been shared. The stories have been told now. It is time for the final act. The act of closing the book. The act of blowing out the candle. The act of drifting. Inhale, weightlessness. Exhale, flight. We are approaching the end of the story, but the beginning of your rest. The shore is in sight. The velvet curtain is descending. Let your mind grow quiet. Let your thoughts become soft and formless, like the clouds you are flying through. Everything is slowing down. The bird is gliding. The frog is waiting. The kangaroo is pausing. The star is burning. And you are sleeping. Stay in this feeling of flight. Stay in this feeling of being held by the air. We are going to land gently now. Not on hard ground, but on soft clouds. We are transitioning into the final silence. We have arrived at the final shore of our journey. The flight is ending. The bird is folding its wings, drifting on the last thermal of the night. The water is settling in the glass. Everything is growing quiet as you lie here. In this perfect stillness, let us take one last look at the tapestry we have woven tonight. It is a tapestry made of light and shadow, of silence and song. We have wandered through oceans where the water glows like the sky. We have stood in forests where the trees hold hands underground. We have seen the desert that remembers the rain, and the seed that slept for 2,000 years. We have heard the silent conversations of plants, the deep songs of whales, and the whisper of the chick inside the shell. We have met the jellyfish that turns back time, and the frog that freezes to survive. And through it all, a single truth echoes gently beneath the surface. Life is extraordinary, not because it is perfect, not because it is invincible, but because it persists. Despite disasters, despite extinctions, despite the cosmic odds stacked against it, life has never stopped. It emerged from boiling vents in the ancient ocean. It spread across continents. It took flight. It swam deep. It burrowed under the ice and soared into the sky. Every time it seemed cornered, it found a new shape, a new strategy. It grew feathers. It grew fur. It grew armor. It grew thought. It built coral reefs and root systems. It built nests and cities. And even now, in the deepest caves, in the saltiest lakes, and in the hottest springs, life is beginning again, and again, and again. It is not always pretty. It is not always easy, but it is endlessly determined, and that determination lives in you, in every breath you take. You are repeating the rhythm of the first ocean. In every beat of your heart, you are echoing the resilience of the first survivors. You are part of this story. You are not separate from nature. You are made of it. You are cells and sparks. You are memory and motion. You are a living thread in the long, unfolding pattern of Earth. So, wherever you are tonight, allow your mind to rest in that certainty. You belong here. Somewhere right now, on the other side of the world, a coral is releasing its eggs into the dark water, trusting the moon. Somewhere, a bird is gliding in its sleep, trusting the wind. Somewhere, a flower is counting the hours until dawn, trusting the sun. And here, in this room, you are closing your eyes, trusting the night. Let the world grow quiet around you. Let the edges of your thoughts blur into soft colors. There is nothing you need to hold on to anymore. The earth is holding everything for you. Imagine yourself floating on that calm, bioluminescent sea we visited at the start. The water is warm. It supports you completely. You are drifting under a sky filled with stars, the same stars that forged your bones. You are floating between the stardust above and the stardust below, drifting, floating, resting. Your breath is slow, in, out. Your body is heavy, sinking, settling, Your mind is clear, empty, peaceful, The journey doesn't end here. It simply pauses. It waits for you, like the seed in the desert, ready to bloom again when you wake. But for now, the only task is to sleep. Sleep well, traveler. Sleep well, child of the stars. Sleep well and dream of the quiet wonders that are waiting for you in the morning. Thank you for dreaming with us.